Thanks for joining all. And I would just request you before the beginning of this session that everyone should go back on mute for the courtesy reasons. And if you have to say something, then you can raise the hands, or at the most you can chat in the window, and I'll be taking up your questions. So, what is the agenda for today? Today we have divided. So this is the first session out of the 5 session of master classes. Today we are going to talk about the effective way of writing the CVs. We are going to talk about the 3 fundamental questions that people ask me all the time. The number one question: I'm applying for a lot of jobs and I'm not getting any interview calls at the moment. Number two question that people usually ask is that I meet the job role almost 80-90% of the times. Still, I'm not getting the job roles. And third, and the key question, people say that we come back from our home country, either having a background in software engineering, studying here data analytics, or study something else in India, work there for something, test management or something, came here for digital marketing, project management, or everything. What can I do to switch the career here? So mainly we are going to look forward that how does employers, when they go back, look at your CVs, what is their psychology, how they do the things, how they find out that in the plethora of 200 CVs, for example, if we say that a recruiter is taking around 150 200 CVs each day, how much time he gives for the CVs, and what are the pointers in which he quickly selects that this is the guy I'm going to go into, this is the guy I'm going to reach into, or this is the people that we don't go at all. Okay, so we are going to delve out into a couple of problems over here. Number one problem, that why do we get rejection or ghosting outs? A good amount of thing is that if we are ghosting it out, a good amount of reason is that your CV is not even being read by human. It's automatically being not being shortlisted. It is put in bucket B that nobody looks in. So what are we going to do is, in order to make this session more interactive rather than boring, I'm going to ask some questions, and I have a quick slide prepared, and I would appreciate if you guys could participate over there. And I'm sharing my screen here, and I'll be asking a couple of questions. Some questions will be quite interesting one. Then I'll be sharing some of the sample CVs that people have given me so far, and I'll be sharing it across. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what is wrong with those CVs. And if you have the similar mistakes in your CVs, you can correct that as well. Okay. All right. So just give me one moment. Right. Do let me know once you're all are able to see the screen. All right, so we are starting the session now. I'll just give you a quick introduction of mine. My name is Raghav Dikshit, and I'm a career mentor, career coach, and I have experience for many years, 10, 15 years experience working in Microsoft, EY, and HPE. And I'm going to help you guys in terms of how to write the effective CVs. And once we start, I have a question for you all. This is the first question, pretty easy one. What is common between all the 5 boxes? I just added one more instead of 5. If any one of you would like to answer.
Yeah, 4 and 9.
4 and 9. Very well. That's pretty easy one. Now we go back over here. Is there anything that is common between the second one?
Yeah.
Take a few.
8 is
And that
common
would
in
be
3 boxes and 4.
now all the 5 boxes actually.
Repeating numbers.
Repeating numbers.
87, 87,
Okay.
87, 66, 66, 66, 44.
But in the last box 987, I don't see any repeating numbers. Second
All are
box.
3-digit numbers.
Okay. All right. That's well. Apart from this, anyone else who can figure out any other similarity between all the 5 boxes? Take 1 second more. That's not a problem. And that's a logical fallacy which usually happens when we read the CV or we write the CV. Okay. And I'm going to come back to this very quickly now. Any last answers from anyone? Any similarity between all the 5 boxes?
Maybe all have one
All are
of
the
the
boxes.
odd numbers. No,
No.
662
They
doesn't
have the
have.
What are
same
the
background color.
They are the same.
There could be hundreds of similarity in terms of the background or the size or the corners, all are rectangles. Okay. But what I'm trying to say is I don't want to check your numerical, mathematical, or artistic
The
capabilities.
numbers are repetitive.
All
Some numbers are
numbers have
repetitive.
at least one even number.
One even number. Okay. All right. One thing that you could notice, and this is the point that I'm trying to figure out, all of the five boxes does not have a number one. All right. And why I just pointed this out, that the commonality between all the five boxes is that they all do not have number one. It's a human psychology, and this is how a CV is read. So the whole idea of asking you this question is that to show you that how this what is the psychology of the people. We all are human, whether we are a project managers, a psychologist, or a CV reviewer, or a recruiter, or a hiring manager. We all have the same psychology that is there been between 12,000 years in past. Anything that is not visible, anything absence of something is difficult to be felt, to be perceived. Nobody paid the attention, and nobody will pay the attention very easily that number one is missing from all these boxes. And this is what usually happens in your CV. I'll take an example here. I'll quickly go back to the next slide. Okay. You go back over here, or maybe I'll just take, okay, let's take this profile summary. Okay. And this guy, sorry, I just did not take down the name who has sent me the CV, but I guess that anybody who's viewing the CV, they would understand that what is that CV look like. Have a look at the CV, and this is a profile summary, and this is exactly the profile summary where someone has put forward in his or her CV. Absence of something. So the person who wrote the CV, he did not have the idea that what is being absent in his profile. And this is where they get a problem. This is the logical fallacy between a CV reviewer, a hiring manager, and a CV writer. As a CV writer, we try to write a CV which is just based on our skills, knowledge, and experience. So you get a golden rule number one. Your CV is just like your name. It has to be used 99% of the time by the others and 1% of the time by yourself. So if you have a profile summary and if you have missing out certain elements, you may not be able to know that, you may not be able to perceive that, you will not be able to find out the absence of the required thing which is which is which is expected by the hiring managers. So you are easily going to be ignored. You can ignore that particular thing very easily, but the hiring manager who's reviews a CV, 10, 20 CVs each day, or a recruiter who reviews a CV like 150 CVs a day, they will be able to understand it very categorically because this is their primary job. And this is what happens when you write the CV and you say that I'm not getting calls, because you are not getting calls because you are not meeting the expectations of the employer. I'll come back to this again, or maybe let's start with this. This profile states that the person is professional AI specialist in cutting edge machine learning, natural LLPs or natural language processing NLP, skilled communicator, adept in conveying complex technical problems into diverse audiences. Any problems that anybody could see in this profile? Anyone wants
He,
to say
he has
something?
he has not
Carry on.
mentioned what kind of roles he's looking for,
Very good. Very good. That's
and
that's
he's not.
that's one of
Yeah,
the points.
he
Although
has
although
not
he
mentioned.
mentioned although he mentioned that he's an AI specialist, in some way he's mentioned, but anything apart from this?
He
Number of
doesn't mention
experience he has.
experience.
Extremely important. Somebody said that number of years of experience. Okay, so I'll go back again. I'll share another CV with you. Okay, and in this case, let's go back over here. Next slide. Okay, so I'll go back to the next slide. Have a look in both the summaries. Okay, one is for, I guess, digital marketer or a marketer. The other one is business analytics professional. Okay, so have a look on that, and we'll talk about this. So there are a couple of things that usually make us make a point over here, and I'm going to talk about a certain things. Psychology is not a concept; it is a way of life, that how people practice their day-to-day things. If I'm a recruiter or I'm a hiring manager, I would not have that much time to go back and evaluate the entire CV. Yes, I will evaluate the entire CV if I had to take an interview of yours. So whenever I take an interview in my real capacity as well, whenever I take an interview, I get around 30 minutes time to prepare for the interview, to understand that what is the highlights, what are the lowlights, what are the breaks in the career and other things, so that I can prepare well. But if I have 10 CVs sent by a recruiter, and if I have to just have a glance at the CV, what are the things I look at? So I want you to take the hat of your hiring manager or recruiter and take the summary number one. A person who is a passionate Google local guide and is looking forward for marketing, and tell me that if you are a recruiter or if you are a hiring manager, what impact you would have created with this summary. And I would be open for any volunteers if you want. Take a minute or two. And in the meantime, I would just ask, is Shalja Bagare there in the call?
This first two lines seems very generic. Not
Okay, Vijay, that's taken. What about the second one? The recent graduate of MSc Business Analytics.
If I have work experience, I could be totally wrong while I'm saying it, but as a recruiter, if I'm looking at a CV, so at somebody who has 4+ years of experience, I would love if that would come directly to me, because when I see that introduction, a recent graduate in MSc Business Analytics just clicks, while the professional experience has not been like highlighted that well. If I could just share my
Oh,
thoughts.
okay, all right, all right. So guys, let's keep it aside for a while. Okay, I'll come back with the actual crux of the session. Okay, the where do we make the mistakes? Okay, the biggest failure point, and why I'm taking this biggest failure point, because 95% of the CVs, they get failed in the first 5 seconds itself. And bigger portion of that, when I say 95%, these are 95% of the CVs for manual reviews. If it goes for the manual reviews, they get just rejected in the first 5 6 seconds. But there are even more unlucky people who do not even go back even for the manual reviews. They directly get taken off by the ATS. So while we are going to talk about ATS a bit later, because that's another conceptual concept, I'll go back into a summary of how does a recruiter or a hiring manager looks at your CV. And they both have completely different ways of looking and shortlisting a CV. It may be possible that recruiter will shortlist 10 people, send it back to hiring manager would not like them at all. And the guy which ultimately hiring manager will hire, he will come to know that that guy was rejected by two of the channel partner recruiters for the same company. And then he applied directly and he got hired. Okay. So there are two different ways of CV reviews that a recruiter does and a hiring manager does. So I firstly come back of two golden rules of CV writing, rather three maybe. Okay. The number one thing that you would always need to understand is that you are not looking for the opportunity. You are the opportunity for the employers. Always make it like a golden rule. You are not looking for the opportunity. You are the opportunity for people. That's number one thing. Always understand. I'll go back again to any of these profile summaries. Does any one of these two people made it sure to the employers that if they get hired, they are going to get a windfall of benefits? So what the first person has written, that seasoned sales and marketing professional with 5 years of track record on driving exceptional growth, diverse industries, XYZ, that's all. And he or she has got the experience in results driven. So she has mentioned about results driven. Where are the results? We don't know. Versatile marketing professional with expertise of creating digital experiences, enhancing brand engagements, optimizing budgets. Okay, now just consider two things. Okay, one is Raghav 1 and one is Raghav 2. Raghav 1 states something like this, that I have an expertise of creating meaningful digital experiences. And I would say Raghav too is saying that I created an impactful digital experiences in which I changed the UI UX design completely of the application and generated a CTA of 35%, leading to 120,000 euros of revenues in the quarter 2, 3, 4, or whatever it is. Okay. Now I'm adding the value to your results or impact. The human psychology says that whenever we are going back with numbers, with percentages, or whenever we are showing the impactful result, people perceive it to be more believable. So, what we learn from here, if you are going back for a career summary, and guys, if you have a pen and paper or a notepad, you note this down. This is a very important thing because what I'm talking about here is 5 things of career summary. Okay. This is not that in the slide. I'll just write it down and send the slide back to you. If you want to note it down, there are 5 things that you need to mention in your career summary all the time. The first thing, who you are. For example, this person has mentioned that a passionate Google local guide. The second person has mentioned that a recent graduate in MSc Business Analytics. And this is where the failure point comes back. If I'm in a rush, and this happens all the time, I'm in rush. I saw the CV like this, a recent graduate in MSc Business Analytics. I did not even read the further lines. I perceived it's a fresher. And suppose this guy has got 3 years of experience, I did not even look back the rest of the things because I need someone with 3 or 4 years of experience. The moment I see that, the first line, a recent graduate, MSc Business Analytics from NUI, maybe I did not even go back to the second part of the line mentioning that 4 years of professional experience. And this happens, it really happens. I've worked with a lot of people. I know that how in rush they are. So what we learned from here, that there are 5 points to be mentioned in the career summary. The number 1 point, who you are. If you want to keep it writing, please write it down. Otherwise, I'll just add it to the CV and send it back to you. Who you are. Second thing, what are you selling? What are your key skills? How do you differentiate from the crowd? And fifth, what you can contribute to the next company where you are going to be interviewed. Okay. So if I would change something, let's take the example of the second one, the recent graduate. Okay. He's mentioned that a recent graduate in MSc Analytics, 4 years of experience as a data analyst in the retail, e-commerce, IT domain, helps stakeholders to make the decisions by XYZ things, developed KPIs, market share, and everything. So if I have to share, if I have to talk about these things in the 5 point journey about the career summary, I will write something like this. First, who you are. He's a data analyst, although he has mentioned business analytics, but he's a data analyst. So I would write something like this: data analyst with 4 years of experience. That is who you are. Okay. Second, what are you selling? What is meant by what are you selling? It means that what have been your experiences. So in this case, you are going to talk about that what are you selling? So you're going to talk about delivered 4 projects, predictive analytics, data visualization, NLPs, or maybe XYZ, whatever they are talking about, and resulted it into generating competitive edge with additional market share of 12% or whatever it is. That is what I am selling. Okay. Then it comes back, what are your key skills? Then you mentioned that holds a forte of skills in Python, Java, Python scripts, SQL, NLP, or maybe if you want to go back for any other skills, Power BI, Tableau, or whatever, you put back all those skills over there. Then come back, how do you differentiate from the crowd? So as a data analyst, one of the key skills that people look at is storytelling. So he can go back and mention that has a forte of storytelling, presenting the business solutions in the form of storytelling and helping the management to cut down their decision-making power by 15%. Presented automated dashboards for the KPIs, help in improving and measuring the KPIs in an effective manner. That is how do you differentiate from the crowd. And the last thing that we are going to talk about is about what impact you are going to do. And this is very crucial. Let's take about this impact in the previous summary for the Google local guide. So she's talking about exceptional growth across diverse industries. So when we talk about exceptional growth, then in terms of contribution, they can mention about have an astounding knowledge in terms of helping. Suppose she's applying for a startups. Let's take an example. She'll mention that have a specialized skill in scaling the startups and getting the new market share across the fledgling industries. Something like that, where they can directly sell that this is what I'm going to do for you. So every other hiring manager who would like to hire you, he would like to understand one quick thing over here. How are you going to help people? How are you going to help you? How are you going to help the next organization? And that is how you are going to do so. All right. So we'll take back another CV. So this is about the summary section. Now we are going to go back and we are going to talk about the work experiences. Just hold on me a second. Let me open up a new CV.
So, sorry to interrupt you in between, but about the professional summary, tentative,
All
how
right.
many words should be there for the professional summary, covering all these above mentioned points?
All right, so that's a key question over here. How many points do you want to mention? So the key thing is that anything that goes back between 50 words to 75 words is okay. If you have an experience between 3 years to 6 years, okay, even if you have experience of more than 6 years, the size of the career summary will remain as is. But if you are a fresher, you don't have too many things to say. So keep it under 50 words. That's what you need to do.
And sir, is it compulsory or is it necessary to mention the visa status in professional summary? Like,
Very well. It's a complete no-no thing. Okay. If you really want to add up something related to visa, I'll tell you where you need to send up. I'm opening up another CV. I hope
sure.
that those people who have been volunteered to put up the CV, they don't have any problems in terms of me sharing the CV over here over the screen. So just give me one moment. I'm just opening up another CV. All right, I got one interesting one. Let's share it across. So I'll take some diversified CVs. Okay. I'm taking this one for a data scientist. Okay. And then I'll take someone for business analyst, then I'll take someone for digital or something like that, so that people from all the backgrounds they will get some part of their share. All right, so it's about to come up to your screens. All right, so this person is a data scientist, and have a look on the professional summary part. And this is where the biggest failure happens at the second point. That when you write your professional summary, how do you write the professional summary over here? Okay. And this is a very common mistake that I see over here. So, and let's take Mr. X. He has mentioned one quick thing over here. Developed advanced SQL queries to analyze overall product performance, including the player behavior, identified the root cause analysis for unexpected, sorry, including the player behavior, engagement trends contributing to $1.1 billion revenue stream. Okay. Now what's going to happen? It's clearly mentioned that he works in 2K games. So in his profile, it's quite evident when he mentioned that there is a player behavior going on. So it's quite evident that he works for a gaming industry, and because he works for the gaming industry, so he's talking about games, but which might not be the case with everyone. So whenever you are writing a CV, so in this particular case, it's not very necessary, but in all other CVs, it is extremely necessary that you give a background that what project you had been working on. If you don't give a project, and suppose the name of the company is not 2K Games, the name of the company is like Infosys, and they are working for a client which is 2K Games. So you are not writing the client names, you are writing for Infosys or maybe ABC Consulting or maybe any other company from where the names is not evident that what are you working on. In that cases, if you're writing player behavior or something, a reader will not understand that what exactly you had been working on. So the first thing and foremost thing that you need to do is in 2 lines, you need to mention about few things, what kind of project you had been working on, and what was the problem that you were trying to solve. Okay, I will also go back and talk about his projects if he has mentioned. He has not mentioned about the projects in his CV, but somebody else has mentioned his projects. And we are going to talk about that. If you want to mention the projects in your CV, how do you have to mention those? Okay, now quickly, and let's say Mr. X. So the biggest mistake that he has done is always understand what is the effective way of writing the CV. The effective way of writing the CV is that you write the results first and then mention how did you achieve the result. This is called as hook and priming strategy. Hook and priming. So what do is you create a hook and you take the attention, and then you prime them. You prime the reader to go back into a certain direction where you want them to go. If you just watch the Netflix series, you find that in every glimpse that you find in, like small play shots or anything that you see on Netflix, they just send the excerpts, which is most interesting part in Netflix, like promos or something. Similarly, if I had to write something like this, which that guy has written, I'm talking about this particular second point, developed and advanced SQL queries. And he mentioned that he contributed to the 1.1 billion revenue stream, which has come at the end. So the effective way of writing was that you keep 1.1 billion revenue stream right at the top and you write something contributed to 1.1 billion revenue stream by developing SQL queries to analyze the overall behavior of XYZ things. Now it would have made a larger impact. Okay, that's first thing. Second issue that which is there in this point is he has made a brilliant point, but he has spoiled the brilliant point as well by writing the word contributed. So now, and I understand that what he might be thinking, that he might not be the only one generating 1.1 billion revenue stream, otherwise he would have been a Superman. So he mentioned that he did not generate it by his own. He just went forward and he was part of the team which generated 1.1 billion revenue stream, and nobody knows how big the team was. So I would suggest that if you are writing something like this, don't talk about something that you did in teamwork. Write something, even if you did not make a billion dollar revenue, talk about something that you can attribute to yourself. For example, you can write something that improved or maybe reduced the manual labor hours from 12 to 3 by doing XYZ things. This is how you can attribute the things to yourself. Always understand this is the third golden rule of CV, okay, or maybe fourth, that people would like to see man or woman in action. So you have to show yourself in action that you are doing some action work. Okay. Now, in this point, he corrected his mistake. In the fourth point, he has mentioned successfully migrated 75% of the frauds during the in-game purchases. And then he mentioned that what is the impact of it. Okay. So that is something that he did right. And if you go back into this thing, one thing that you always have to understand that you have to maintain the tenses, you have to maintain the verbs and everything. For example, if you have maintained, leveraged, developed, identified, then you can't write something successfully mitigated. If you have mitigated 75% of the frauds, that itself means that you are successful. No need to write successful. And this Python and SQL should not have come into bullet points for sure. Okay. So I'll go back again. I'll take someone else. Okay, yeah, he has mentioned some projects as well. Okay. So I'll take some projects here that if you want to go back and write some projects, okay. So he has mentioned his project for Zolendo, that content-based product matching. Okay. So how you write the project in your CV, always and always be understandable on that, that you need to write a project that somebody can easily review. If I'm a hiring manager, okay, and when I hire people, the first thing that I would like to see in your project is what is the problem statement? What was, especially if you're a business analyst, data analyst, marketing or sales, not in sales, but maybe in digital marketing or something. If you're looking into these kind of roles, and if you're doing a project, what is the problem statement that you had been looking into? That is the biggest thing that every other hiring manager would like to see. So this person has not mentioned what is the project he has been working on, maybe what is the problem statement he has been working on. So when you write the project, write it in the 4 points. First, what was the problem statement? Okay. Second, what was the solution did you propose? Third, what kind of tools and technologies did you use? And fourth, what was the results taken? So you have, for example, he mentioned about the results that he achieved an outstanding model performance, matching Zorando's product XYZ, impressive F1 score of 0.5. So he did some part of this very good, okay, but not everything. Okay. One more thing that I would like to talk about, skills. And here I'm going to talk about in terms of in terms of your ATS compliance. Do you have any questions like this? The CV should be of 1 page or 2 page. Anyone? Maybe if you have any such questions, put back into the comment section. I'll be taking this up. But if you have this question that whether the CV should be 1 page or 2 page, let me give you an example. Okay, somebody raised their
Yeah.
hands. Who's that?
I also have
Aishwarya.
yeah.
Yes, Aishwarya.
So
Please
the
tell.
thing is, if I am having 5 years of experience, plus I have done 2 to 3 internships,
Okay.
sometimes which also matches to the job profile. For example, I'm into finance profession and I used to work with a chartered accountant during my bachelor's degree as an
Okay.
intern. So the
Mhm.
audit, especially when it comes to the audit roles, that can be helpful to grace my application. Probably if I'm applying to some of the audit consultancies like KPMG or GT, Grant Thornton. So how can I fit all my 5 years experience plus these internships and everything into 2 page? Because they say that your resume should not be longer or it should not be that lengthy that recruiter won't look over. So how to
You want to write a 3 page or 4 page CV, Aishwarya, or 5 page CV?
no, no,
Does it
no,
going
no.
to help? Does it going to help?
It's not
There
about
was a famous.
helping, but I just wanted to show that yes, I do have or I have worked upon or something like that. It's not
Okay.
like I want to show up everything whatever I did and like each and every minute detail has to be gone on the resume, but sometimes some profiles I believe that this should have gone and that should have gone. So it's always a part of confusion where to put what.
Okay. All right. So Aishwarya, this is a very pertinent CV, and I'm glad that you asked this question. And this might be in the mind of many other people. So, guys, make it as a golden rule, another golden rule, maybe like fourth or fifth, whatever it is, that if you have more experiences, okay, understand that you need to fit in everything either in 1 page or 2 page, depending upon experience. If you have less than 2 years of experience, maybe you take 1 page CV, not more than that. If you have more than 2 years of experience, you better go back for 2 page CV. Okay. And actually, I'm just coming back to your point again. The key reason I personally prefer 2 page CV is that when you have 2 page CV, you have the ability to put more keywords there. And if you can put more keywords there, there is more probability for ATS to detect those keywords and get it shortlisted. When ATS wasn't there, I used to say that keep it this CV for 1 page, smaller the better. But when the ATS has come in, I strongly recommend that you keep up 2 page of the CV because more page means more content. More 2 page CV is anyways acceptable. It's a very easily acceptable 2 page CV for people more than 2 years of experience. More CV, more page means more words, more keywords, more chances, and mathematically more probability, mathematically, not logically, but mathematically more probability of getting into ATS. Okay. Now coming back to your answer, Shwarya. So you have got multiple projects, internships. So what you need to do is instead of making the CV chronological or a reverse chronological, you have to make a functional CV. How many of you would like do not know the difference between functional CV, chronological CV, or a reverse chronological CV? You can raise hands, but anyways, I can go back and tell you more about that. A functional CV is the one. For example, Ashwarya is going back to KPMG for an role which is related to audits, and she has got some experience in audits, but she has got other experiences as well, which is not related to audits. So what she's going to do that she's not going to talk about what is the recent experience she has. She is going to talk about the most relevant experience. So she's going to put the most relevant experience right at the top. then less relevant, then less relevant. So it is not about what is the recent role you have done. It may be possible that 3 years ago you did something which is more relevant to your next job that you are applying rather than your current role, what you're doing in. Let's take example, you're working as a financial analyst, but 3 years ago you worked in the audits. Now you're going back again in a role which is related to audits. You're not going to show your financial experience right below your career summary or skills. You're going to show your audit experience, and you're going to write in the brackets that it's a functional experience in functional order. So you're going to write experience in functional order, and then you are going to write something that is more relevant. You put it at the top. Something is less relevant. You'll put it at the in the middle. Something that is not relevant, you'll just put it in 1 line or 2 line and completely trunk it off. Okay. Did
Okay,
I answer your question,
that
Ashwarya?
is that is acceptable. I mean, it is not necessary that always it has to go on the chronological order or something
No,
like
no,
that.
no, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Rather, it is just ulta. It's just reverse. If you are not talking about the relevance, you are not interested candidate to me. If I'm looking forward for a digital marketer and somebody is talking about sales, I may not be interested about that. I may be interested about, so a person has worked for 5 companies, three of them are sales, and the first 2 has been for marketing, and I'm looking for a marketing role. I will be pissed off to see that, oh, sales, sales, sales. Maybe I'll not go down. I'm looking forward that what is a relevant experience I had. So if you have this kind of issues in the CV, go back for a functional CV, and for the mood of the recruiter and hiring manager, it's better you write down a bracket, mention that experience in functional order. Okay. Or you mention that experience in order of relevance, and that's how you can go across. Okay. Anvesha, do you have any questions?
Thank you so much, Raghav, for this valuable input given. I'll definitely take care of it well for the next time.
All right, but I was coming back to the skill section over here in the CV. Okay. As per the ATS, okay, just understand that one of the ATS key thing, okay, is that how quickly the ATS can read your CV. Although ATS has multiple things to evaluate your CV, one of the biggest factors is that whether your sections are being read or the sections are not being read. Okay. For example, if you put some pictures, some graph, some telephone symbols in front of your phone number, or some address, Google Map address symbol in your these things are not read by your ATS. So I would say that make a very clean CV. If you see this guy, okay, this guy has made a very clean CV. Okay, I'll show another CV. Okay, I'll go back to another CV. Okay, because I think so. I've taken up all the things for him. Okay, this guy has also made a very clean CV. Although his font, I don't know which font it is. I would suggest that you always use some basic font like Calibri or Arial or maybe similar. I'm not really sure about what this font size is. Sorry, font type is, but you keep it something which is very common. The second thing the ATS looks forward is that what is your keywords. So first thing, as I mentioned before, if there are photos, firstly, no photos at all, unless you are doing some modeling or unless you are doing some photography or something which really requires your abilities to show the pictures. Don't put up your photos, and do not, for God's sake, do not put up your address as well, full address. All you need to do is put up your location. Okay. One important thing is that if you are living in one end of Dublin, like Dublin 24, I would suggest that instead of writing Dublin 4, you just write Dublin. Okay. An interviewer or maybe a hiring manager could be biased. There has been issues when the office is in Blanchardstown and the person lives in opposite corner of the city, and there is a 3 days a week coming to the office. People don't like it, and there could be a bias. I'm not saying that it will be a bias. It could be a bias. I would say that you just keep it the city name. That is enough. Okay. And if you are looking forward for open roles everywhere, then you write Dublin, Galway, whatever, and put a bracket open for relocation. Because if you're living in a small city like Letterkenny, which does not have too many jobs or too many job market, and if you are looking forward for all the open roles in the entire Ireland, mention open for relocation, recruiters will know that you are open for relocation. Okay, I'll come back to the ATS number 2 point. The number 2 point ATS is keywords. So keyword matching, and I will take a dedicated session once again on that, on keywords matching. But just understand that maybe I should take, okay, I should take a quick, I would say, job description to show you how the keywords work. All right. Let's take an example. Okay. Which job you would like to see? Mm, 1 second. Let me see the CV, this guy, and I'll see that. Okay, let's take Anvesha. Anvesha, your CV. Shall we take it? All right.
Yeah, sure.
So, okay. Which job you would like to apply, Anvesha? I'll just give a quick summary of how you are going to take up the keyword customization. Quickly, which job?
Can we take account executive?
Okay, see that. Oh, this is one of my favorite companies, by the way, Kasaya. And why Kasaya is my favorite company? It's very good for non-EU people for helping them for the work permit. So everybody else have different notions of which company do they like, which company do they like. So if somebody asks me that which company do I like, then I would say that I like Kasaya, I like PTSP, and I like which other company, Siva Logistics. So and the common thing about that is in tech, almost most of the companies find the work permits. People who are not in tech, and if they are helping non-EU candidates for work permits, I like them. I really have a good respect for them. Anvisha, you're saying something?
Raghav, I just wanted to update on Kaseya. I recently interviewed with them and I found out that they are no longer sponsoring non-EU candidates. Where like so just my experience I wanted to share.
Okay, all right. Unfortunately, my thing and your thing are not matching in because I have got a confirmed updates that they are doing it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But maybe I might be wrong. I don't know. Okay, so it could be, or it could be a thing that some companies like Accenture, they file the work permits for some people for some role, and they do not file the work permit for some other role. So they say yes and they say no both. Okay,
Okay.
but when even in that case, I would say that Kisaya has been doing it for a long time. They might not
Okay.
be doing it. That's fine. Let's not argue about that. But it could be the things. Okay, so
Okay.
the idea is that we are going to look forward at how one will going to customize the CV. So it's an account executive role. Okay, usually what people do is that they will take the keyword from here. Okay, and how they will take the keyword? They will take the keyword like this. They will say, actually, this rule does not have too many keywords over here. Growth strategy, for example. Growth strategy, they have mentioned, this is a keyword. And then they have mentioned about prospecting, nurturing, and closing the new accounts. This is not just a keyword, this is the whole backbone of this role. So you need to understand that what is the backbone of this particular role. So this particular role, the backbone is, the first line is the backbone of these things. And if you go back and see that, they have mentioned that you not only prospect, you not only nurture, but you have to close all the leads. And this is the center point. And how it will go, Anvisha, this is for you and for everyone, that first you identify what is the backbone of this role, and you go back and hit the backbone. So I'll go back to your CV again. Okay. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this Google local guide. You have sent me your CV on PDF. Otherwise, if you would have sent in Word, I would have made the changes right away. Okay. But anyways, so instead of this Google local guide or something, I will just go back and mention that, for example, you have mentioned 5 years of track record. I will put this right at the top. And I will say that account executive, 5 years of experience. And then I will write something like this, 5 years of experience in prospecting, nurturing, and lead closures. And then I'm going to write successfully added a revenue growth of 500,000 euros, nurtured 12 key accounts. Okay. And then I could have write cross sold and upsold 12% of the repeat customers. And then I will write something like this, that collaborated with CIOs, CSOs, CTOs, and COOs to understand the business problems and drove the solution through consultative abilities. Okay. One of the key things that they have mentioned is that develop subject matter expertise in solution track and knowledge of competition. So what I'm going to write over here, all these things will try to go in the career summary as well. Performed competitor benchmark, understood the USPs, mentioned the SWOT performance, and came back with result-driven activities to enhance performance generating results, something like this. So when we go back over here, you see that you don't have to just pick up the keywords. You have to go with the flow and add that flow. And where are you going to write the flow? The first flow you're going to write in your career summary. Okay, guys, everyone who is not even into digital, look at that. First, you'll add the things into your career summary. Then you are going to write, for example, and this is the biggest mistake that you have, time management, adaptability, leadership, problem management. All these things, you cut them off. These are not keywords. These are buzzwords. All your CV should not contain time management. Just listen it very carefully again. If you want to show that you are a time management person, so instead of writing time management, you write a point. You write a point in your professional experience and mention that delivered a project 5% in advance the schedule, despite having 10% labor shortage or something like this. So you are proving that you are a very good time manager rather than writing that you are done the time management. So this goes back with 6 golden rule of CV writing. Do not tell, just show. I guess that somebody has raised a hand, and I'm not sure who is. Whosoever has recently raised a hand, you can ask and speak a question if you want. No one? Okay. I'll quickly go back to another person, otherwise everybody would say that. Okay, so this guy is Vatsal. Vatsal, I hope you don't mind that me sharing your CV. And okay, now Vatsal, I just say a couple of things over here that you have mentioned business analytics, then you go back for data analyst, and then you have mentioned your profile overview very well. Okay, so now you understand from the recruiter's perspective. Okay, recruiter will have to read the introduction, then he would like to read the profile overview, and he will be finished off with 5-6 seconds because recruiter usually take only 5 or 6 seconds to complete the review. So I would suggest that instead of writing too many things, you compact both introduction and profile reviews and make a 5-line statement: who you are, what are you selling, what is your key skills, how do you differentiate from the crowd, and what impact you are going to make to your next organization. Okay, and now it comes in terms of professional experience. So just see here, what you have mentioned is that you have 4 years of experience as a data analyst and you are starting something like this as an advisor. Okay, which is okay. I understand that you have made a CV which is more into reverse chronological order, which is totally understandable. So I will have a patience as a recruiter. Okay, I will have a patience to see your first experience, recent one, as a bit off than what you're looking forward. But when you mentioned sales analyst again in this, it gives me an impression that you have been into sales only. So what is going to happen is you will be typecasted that you are a either data analyst, but only for sales related thing and not for others. Okay. So I would suggest that instead of mentioning that sales analyst, which can mislead people, you write that data analyst bracket sales projects or sales operations. This is not faking out. Okay, this is avoiding any confusing statements that can confuse people. Okay, because when you write sales analyst, people are in rush, they might be typecasting you that you are related to sales only. Okay, second thing, very important, everyone please note down, this is particular reason I took back this CV. Any problem someone sees with this: responsible for exploratory data analysis to identify trends, patterns, and areas of improvement. Anyone who would confirm that? What is the problem with this statement? No, you, not you, and Vesha. Anyone else?
Here
Responsible for,
Sorry. Who's the one?
sorry, I was saying responsible for the
Exactly.
first two words.
Who said that?
Ranjana.
Ranjana. Okay. And what is the problem with responsible for?
I mean, you shouldn't be writing responsible. It's like there is a responsibility on you. You should write it like you do it on an everyday basis. It used to be your task. I mean, I'm just saying, commenting. I really
Okay.
don't know.
Okay. So, guys, please note down. This is a very important concept that whenever you are writing the CV, write down the CVs like that. Responsibilities plus results is equal to impact, or impact is equal to responsibilities plus results. Okay. And what is Vatsal there on the call, by the way, by any chance?
Yep, I'm here, Mr. Raghav. Yep, I'm
I
here on the
hope
call.
I hope Vatsal, you are not
No,
feeling
no,
offended.
no. I'm absolutely fine. This is actually very great for me. You
Okay.
giving us
So,
feedback on where
so
we're
Vatsal,
going wrong. But
my direct
yep,
question to you is that
yep.
if Vatsal one says that responsible for extraordinary exploratory data analysis, and on the other hand, I say that performed or maybe did or spearhead or generated or XYZ. At one hand, I say that I was responsible for this. On the other hand, I say that I did data analysis, identified the trends in the KPIs of manufacturing solutions, came back with the results of automation, generated the visualized reports, and recommended the management to cut down the labor cost through utilizing advanced automation through machine reverse optimization like this. So what you need to do is you need to mention what data did you explore, what trends did you find, and what did you recommended, and you did this. You were not responsible of doing that. When one person says that I was responsible of doing this, and the other person says that I did that. So the person who says that I did that and then mention that how did he do it, he is considered as more prominent. All good?
That means situational, Raghav. Sorry to interrupt. That means situational, that this was the area of problem and this is how I tackled it. And in
Very
quantifiable
quickly.
manner.
So just understand very quickly, because and another point, none of your points should go back more than 2 lines. That's the maximum. Okay. So you will write something like this. For example, if I had been Vatsal, I would have written something like this, that cut down or reduced 8% of the manufacturing cost by and exploring the data, identifying the trends of highlights and lowlights, and recommending the areas of improvement in terms of waste management of the machines. Okay. Or waste management of the old machines. So I'm assuming that he's working for a manufacturing company. Okay. But he's not working for a manufacturing company. He's working for some other company. That's fine. Okay. I'll go back for some other CV now. Okay. Vamsi. So Vamsi is again machine learning.
Hello,
Is everyone data analyst here? Because I see
Hello?
that everyone else is coming as a data analyst.
So would you mind if you can consider my resume? I have put it on the group actually.
Okay. And who's that?
Aishwarya.
Aishwarya, just give me one moment. I'll just open up my WhatsApp, and you must have sent me on my WhatsApp, right?
Yeah.
Hello?
Aishwarya, I'm 1 second. Okay, I got it, I guess. And Aishwarya, you are Aishwarya Gaurav, right?
No, Aishwarya Badwe. I have put it at the last in the this thing before. It's Aishwarya Badwe. After Aditya Saksena's resume, it's my resume.
Hello. Raghav, if you want something totally different, you can go with the legal side of, like, I'm into legal side if you want to look at to it.
I'll go
The
back.
data
I've got
protection
one
privacy
person.
consultant.
I've got one person, Charu Singh. Actually, I'm sorry. Maybe we can talk up some other time. I'm unable to find it, and for the interest of people, I'll go back someone else. I got someone for Charu Singh. Charu, would you like me to take up your CV?
Yes, I have no concerns at all. I was actually hoping that you pick it. Thank you.
Okay, and I don't have time to mask your CV, so I'll just show it as is. Okay.
No problem.
One more thing, guys. This call is being recorded, and there will be people who will be listening to this call later. I hope everyone is okay with that. Okay. If anyone is not okay with that, they can drop off. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen now. Okay, one thing that I would like to say to everyone, and I just missed out someone was from legal background. I may not be able to take the CV today, but in next upcoming sessions, we have series of 5 sessions. Don't worry on that. We will definitely take that up. Okay, and Charu. Okay, we'll go back as his last CV, and Charu has mentioned that a result-driven HR associate with proven track record of fostering connection, this, proficient in influencing impactful data-driven decisions, XYZ things, and that is good enough. Okay. Charu, how much experience do you have?
I have 3 years of experience.
Okay. So, guys, this is one of the biggest failure. If you have 3 years of experience, there is something which is called as scroll down test. How many of you know about scroll down test? Okay, a scroll down test is something like this. It is again a psychological test that you see the screen of the CV. Okay, if I'm a recruiter and I'm looking at the CV, and this is not 100% true thing. Okay, it works in some many of the cases. It might not work on some of the recruiters. Okay, so it's not something which is always true, but many times. Scroll down test says that if I can open the CV on my screen or in my laptop, I'm not going to scroll it down to read the whole one. Whatever is visible in my screen, I'm going to take a decision on the basis of that. And in my screen, I can only see Charu and her education. I cannot see her experience. And I can see only one line that she has been doing in some part-time Zembrio Dublin. This is one of your major fatal point, Charu. One of the major fatal point that you have mentioned your part-time experience right at the top just to mislead people. And second thing is that if you are an HR person, this kind of gruesome mistake is definitely not expected from you. Okay, definitely not expected from you. It becomes a issue for me or to anyone who's reading the CV that as an HR you should be very much pro in terms of your CVs and other things. HR CVs should be flawless. If a data analyst, business analyst CV has got some problem, I may not mind that. Or any recruiter or any hiring manager will not mind that because their skill activity is something else. If you are into marketing, by any chance, if you are into sales, or if you're into HR, then your presentation skills has to be flawless. No exceptions. Okay. Now you have so you have 3 years of experience. Okay. And now you have mentioned your education right at the top. So UCD is a great college. Okay, but you cannot get a job on the name of UCD. You will definitely not get a job. There is no point of mentioning that. There's no reason to mention that Bachelor's of Business Administration in 2019 from Christ University. Christ University, very good college in India. So you have studied in some good colleges, but these good colleges cannot give you jobs. This will be my least criteria to give you a job based on your education. In Ireland, jobs are given on the basis, okay, in Ireland, jobs are given on the basis of experience and knowledge and not the basis of your education. You would have to take this education part in the second page of the CV, maybe. Okay. First part of the CV, in terms of your summary, I have already told you what you are missing out. You need to put forward who you are, and you have mentioned it very well that you are result driven HR associate. But what in HR? If you are sending the CV directly, it may not be fit. HR goes back into talent acquisition, it goes back into training, upskilling, and cross skilling. It goes back into employee engagement, it goes back into compensation and benefits, it goes back into workforce management, it goes back into a large number of things. So when you send a CV to someone, you mentioned that result driven HR associated, which domain? You mentioned that domain, and then talk about this domain into 5 points: who you are, what are you selling, what is your key skill, how do you differentiate from the crowd, and how would you make an impact to the next organization. That's number one thing. Number two thing, your education should come down for sure. No problem, sir. No other things on that. Third thing,
Sorry,
carry on.
sorry, Raghav, to interrupt you in between. Just a question there. So when you say that, I shouldn't be mentioning, like, I should be very specific about what kind of role I'm looking to. But like, considering I'm open to like multiple roles because my HR experience is so diverse, I have options to look at many other roles, but I cannot, like, in simpler terms, like, say, if I've not been an engagement consultant before, but I do match a lot of responsibilities that an engagement consultant would do. So would it make sense or would it be okay for me to actually write a result-driven engagement consultant? But say I never had that role officially in my experience.
That's a brilliant question, Charu. If I would have a chocolate
Thank
and
you.
I've got the technology to put it back in the video, I would have done that for you. Okay. Anybody in the
I'll
audience who would
buy
like to ask?
myself one today.
Okay, buy yourself one because you have asked a very thoughtful question that I forget to add it over in my session. Anybody in the audience who would like to answer this question? Because this is a very thoughtful question.
You can customize your CV according to the job role. Maybe like when you are doing professional summary, like
Okay.
customize, I'm looking for this specific role and what are the skills that job role offers, and you can modify a little bit and you can quickly learn the skills before the interview.
Okay, this is possible. Anyone else before I jump back? Okay, so I'll take this. If suppose you have not worked in compensation and benefits, have you worked in compensation and benefits or employee engagement or labor laws? No.
No, not really.
Okay, let's suppose you are going back, or maybe trainings, cross skilling and upskilling.
A little bit.
Little bit.
Like I can
So I'll
still
take
apply
back.
for it. Yeah.
I'll take back like employee engagement. Okay, where you have never worked. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is where we say that articulation. There are two things in the CV. One, you should always do. Second, you should never ever do. Okay. What you need to do is articulation, and what you never should do is manipulation. Okay. Articulation will state that, or maybe manipulation. I'll start with manipulation. Manipulation will state that an HR, or sorry, result driven HR, or maybe employee engagement HR executive, a result driven employee engagement HR executive with 3 years of experience. This is manipulation. You have never been into employee engagement. Okay. This is called as manipulation. You should not be doing that. Now, suppose what is articulation? You are going to write something like this: a result driven HR associated with a forte or a sound knowledge, with a sound knowledge on employee engagement, compensation benefits, and different parts of our or employee traceability or XYZ things, with a track record of reducing the attrition rate by X and Z things. And then you are going to write something like this, that you have a specialized knowledge on this, you have a forte on this. You are not saying that you have done that. You are saying that you have a knowledge about it. You are saying that you have a specialized skill about it, but you're not saying that you have done this, or in the last organization you were doing this. This is called as articulation. All right. Articulation is acceptable if it is truth. If you have learned about employee engagement, first learn it and then write it. Okay. It will be very embarrassing. You write something like this, and when you go back for the interviews, you say that. And it happens with a large amount of data analysts. They say a large amount of things on their CVs, and when technical things comes back, they just shame on. Okay. So that is something that we have. Any questions that you have? And a couple of things I would also like to say that, okay, in all the skills, out of all the people that are there are around 100 people, I guess. So of all the skills that you have, the skill of ability, or the skill or the ability to fight back, is the biggest skill in the falling job market. You will be beaten up again and again, again and again and again and again. Job market is a result driven area through failures, repeated failures. But the key thing is that if you don't stop by, if you don't hold yourself back and keep on going, you keep on going, you will achieve it. You will go back to the destinations. I would like to take a small example with one of my mentees. His name is Jagrat Anand. And I hope that he will not find it bad, me taking his, well, he will be very happy actually. With 0 years of experience, a large number of people will say that Irish market is not good for freshers. which actually is. But that doesn't mean that all freshers go jobless. There are many freshers who get jobs, and there are many experience holders who doesn't get jobs. But the key thing is that your ability to fight back is an ability from last 12,000 years a human civilization has got. No matter, okay, no matter you get ghosted, no matter people insult you, no matter you get back beaten down on the interviews, no matter nobody respond you back, no matter you get how many rejections, you keep on applying, you keep on learning, you keep on applying. The same thing happens with Jagrit, and I'm personally connected with Jagrit because I consider him like my younger brother. He had so many problems, but eventually he overcame all the problems, and now I think he is working in a very good company, Deloitte, in some good role. And he is a kind of, I would say, he has got a very inspiring story to talk about, that how he even overcame all the failure points, how all the failure points happens, how all the difficulties happens, and finally he achieves something which he really wanted to have. My mother is not very great in English, and those people who understand Hindi, because she doesn't speak English that much. But she told me one thing at an early age, when I was looking forward for jobs, and she was telling me about this. What exactly she said, I don't remember it, but what she meant like this, and it was a saying in Hindi, that लाइफ में आपको वो नहीं मिलता है जो आपको चाहिए, वो आपको मिलता है जो आपको चाहिए ही चाहिए. That you can't skip out. If you don't get something that you want, you only get that you are destined to go for. So that's what I would say, that there are multiple things going on in the market. You will see that a lot of people coming back and telling people that you join some mentorship program and you are going to get a job in 1 month. These are all fake things. Nobody can give you a job in 1 month, not even 3 months. The only person who can give you a job is you, no one else. So all you need to do is avoid these scammers or fake profilers. They are going to come back. They are going to give you a good amount of things, that 1 month guarantee. And there has been some recent posts on social media. Somebody did that. Some Indian lady who did that and mentioned that something like this, that a company came back, mentioned that you will get the job in 1 month. And it's been 3 months. She didn't get any, neither got a refund nor get something on that. So these are all fake things. The only thing that you can get a job is do the correct activities, do the correct actions, and you will be able to get the jobs till the time you work it out across. This will be a 5 session series that you can go back
Excuse
and
me, sir.
carry on.
Yeah, I have a
Vijay.
question. You are saying there are multiple, like manipulation is not a part of our job. But the thing is, for example, let's say as a business analytics, there will be a lot of varieties in the skills. No, no job role is like it mentioned as per our CV. So it varies a lot. For example, let's say data visualization. I have worked in for 3 years in Tableau, but there comes a company where they are looking for in a Power BI. So both are same, both are the thing. But what I can change it, I can, structure my CV according to that. Okay, let's say I do have instead of saying I do have a Tableau, I can say I have a Power BI or something. So this is just one case. So lot of technologies, lot of tools are happen with business analytics or data science, machine learning, software developer roles. So these are correlated in one or the other way. So my question is, how do you select what kind of roles you are looking for? Because I will tell you there is very shortage of roles comes into business analytics. So what is your solution to this?
Okay, so I would say that you need to be convinced that you are not manipulating. Okay, for example, a company comes back and they are asking for Power BI and you have worked on Tableau. Although the syntax is different, but the logic required for both the tools are the same. Okay, anybody who has worked on Tableau can also work on Power BI. There is nothing, and even if I'm hiring for a data analyst and somebody comes back and say that I've worked 3 years on Tableau, but I have got a knowledge and experience on Power BI, I would not mind that. And this is not a very logical manipulation, I would say that. So anything that you are convinced of, anything that you can speak up and clarify to people should be okay. And regarding the different kind of jobs, yes, there cannot be a job tailor made for you. So there will be some variations. You will be the best judge to make your variations possible. The only thing that you need to take care of that, if somebody comes in the interview and asks you a question about that, why did you change it? Then you need to have a solid answer to explain that this is not a lie. This is just a structuring and customization. For example, a sales analyst can be converted into a sales, can be a person who's working as a data analyst in sales. Then instead of writing sales analyst, he can write data analyst bracket sales or data analyst bracket working on sales projects, so that it's clearly understandable by people. If somebody questions it, he can explain and it's logical enough. So you need to create a logic and then you can do the things. That's absolutely no problem. The problem comes back when you have worked as a sales analyst or you have worked as a digital marketer or a marketer, and you come back here and say that you are an you are an account executive or you are a project manager. This is a lie, total lie. Okay. Apart from that, all the things should be okay. I see that some people have kept the hands up. And who's that? Abhishek, you have any question?
Yes, yes. So first of all, I was asking about the summary. So can I include, like, for example, a certain kind of certification is required by many job roles? Can I include that certification itself in the summary?
Yes, absolutely. Very bang on question. Suppose you are a project manager professional. The first thing I need to write is PMP certified project manager. Okay. Or you are into
Mhm,
SEO, or you are, for example, BA people, they do a
mhm,
certification. Okay.
mhm.
That is CBAP or ECBA. So you need to write that ECBA certified business analyst. So certification come right before your job title. Okay. You can do that.
Got
I
it,
will
got
go
it.
back to,
And one more
to,
thing, sorry,
oh, yeah, carry on.
sorry. Yeah, and like, for example, I was working for Deloitte on a third-party payroll. So is
Mhm.
there anything like, do the people judge you on the basis that you're working on a third-party payroll back in India? Like, I'm working for Deloitte remotely on third-party payroll. So does it
No,
affect the
but
Irish job market?
no, but the
Yeah.
key thing is the thumb rule over here is that whosoever is your client, you can't take the name of the client. This is a thumb rule that we have in Ireland due to GDPR laws. Okay.
Mhm.
But in India, GDPR law is not there. So it is subjectivity that if you're not bounded by the company, you can mention the name. But if it is an Irish company, you can't just mention the name. Okay.
Yeah. So
If you're on payroll of
yeah,
something,
got it.
you just need to mention
Mhm.
on this company.
Perfect,
Hi, sir.
perfect.
Good evening.
I want. Oh, sorry.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good evening. Sir, I
Good
have
evening.
two questions regarding the major points mentioned in the session. So the first one is regarding the customization of CV, depending on the job roles of similar industries. So let's say
Okay.
I'm applying for different job roles on the same day in similar industries,
Mhm.
and there is a customization of the CVs happening, but the LinkedIn profile that I'm putting it out is the same, right? So how will
Mhm.
I add all the customization that I'm putting in the CV in my LinkedIn profile as well?
That's what I'm saying, that do not over manipulate the things. Okay. If you are just custom, for example, I was speaking to someone where I was mentioning that you do the functional changes, make the CV which is functional more. Okay. In this case, there is absolutely no problem if she changes the CV and keep the LinkedIn profile same, because people understand, recruiter understand, hiring manager understand that you customize the CV. This is a requirement so that you stay relevant, so that people can see the relevant profiles. Absolutely no problem. But you can't, if you're manipulating very largely, it is a big time problem. You don't do that because people will see your LinkedIn profile. An HR person cannot become a data analyst. Okay.
Got it,
Someone
sir.
mentioned
And,
Archer.
just one more
Uh,
doubt.
Give me 1 second. Archer has mentioned something. Missed answering. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I missed it. Okay. Um, in CV location. So just you mentioned just below your name, when you mentioned that data analyst or something, you mention your location, phone number. You can just mention your visa status, stamp 1G holder. Okay. If it is expiring after 1 year, you can mention that. If it is expiring in 2 months, better you don't write expiry date. Just mention stamp 1G holder. Do you mention, Sharu saying that? Do you mention part-time experience in the CV? Yes, I do mention that you need to mention part-time experience. The key reason is that if you don't mind mention part, suppose you completed your graduation in 2022 and you did not get a job until 2024, and you don't mention part-time experience, people will ask what is the gap period. Okay, so it's better that you put the experience section somewhere. Do not put your part-time experience right at the top. Okay. Harshita is
Raghav?
saying that keywords, how to mention the
Hello.
keywords in the job description. Harshita, I mentioned this on Anvesha's profile, that how to add the keywords in the job description from the this one.
Raghav,
Okay.
regarding keywords,
Rather,
I
sorry
have
to
one
interrupt.
small doubt.
Yeah, even I have
Raghav,
one doubt regarding keywords.
Okay, I'll give this chance to
So,
Prachi. Yeah, you
yeah.
have a doubt?
So primarily you said that we have to add keywords in CV. So like with every company's requirement, as they mentioned in the description, we have to update our CV accordingly.
Okay, that's a tricky question here. I'll tell you that. Okay. Suppose you are going back. No, that's a bad example actually. Okay. So I'll take some other example which is more articulative. Any job which is relevant, that is too much relevant for you. Okay. If the job is too much relevant for you, you customize and is okay. I'll take a good example. If you are going to meet a friend, you'll buy a dress from Zara. Okay. But if you are going for your own wedding, you're not going to buy a dress from Zara. You are going to get a tailor and make a tailor fit profile, sorry, tailor made dress for you. Okay. It is only for the special occasions. So when you go back and you find that this is the job I want, you go back and customize the CV as per the job. So you make something like this. 50% of your jobs that you apply should be customized. 50% of job you can go as is, because if you start customizing your job for each and every role, in that case, you will not be able to apply more than 3, 4 jobs a day, provided you are doing part-time as well.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. So is unpaid work
Raghav, I have
experience?
one question.
Who's that?
Sorry. My name is Harsha,
Harsha.
and I have one
Okay.
question regarding work experience.
Mhm.
What if we don't have the metrics which have been directly impacted the company? Like, for example, if I have just less than 2 years of experience and I don't have any particular metrics, so how should I put that in my CV or work experience section?
Why would you don't have a metrics? You will have a metrics always. So
So,
if
like,
you're
what if I don't haven't any directly impacted the company's revenue? Like when you said,
it's not only revenues, it's not revenues. Okay. Even a security guard at a gate or a gatekeeper, it also has the gatekeeper that he in the entire 3 years incident he did not have any unauthorized access incident, 0% unauthorized incident access at the gate. This is a KPI for a security guard. It is not impacting his revenues. Revenues is just one parameter. There are hundreds of KPIs. You need to figure that out.
okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, that is something,
Raghav,
guys. I
Hi
would
Raghav,
say,
Swaraj here.
okay, Suraj.
Like I have 6 years of experience, and
Okay,
like recently I was working on like different technologies, for example, Snowflake. But before
okay.
that, I have worked on big data technologies. Okay, and at the moment I'm applying for the both role. So is it okay to change the order of my experience, like the for the big data role? I have worked like at the very start. So is it okay to change the order in the resume?
Okay. Whenever you are confused, okay, just go with the logic. Okay, the logic states that suppose you have 6 years of experience, you have worked on a particular experience in the very first year, and after 5 years you worked in some other experience, and now you
Okay.
want to go back with the same experience that you had when you were working on Snowflakes or data engineering or wherever it is on the first year. You can change the order, but if the number of years are too big, then it does
Hmm.
roll out the relevance. It is because when you leave the job for a considerable period of time, you lose the touch, especially if you're in the technical domain. Okay.
Right.
So suppose I have been working in some other job 2.5 years ago, 3 years up to that maximum, and I want to take back that role first. Acceptable. But I've worked with 5, 6 years, 7 years before. I'm taking back in the right at the top. And it is still good. It is still good. There's no doubt over there. You should be doing that. But recruiters or hiring managers will say that what is the relevance after 5 years? This man should have lost the touch for this technical part. So this may not go very well, but still it is much better than going back irrelevant role first and keeping the relevant role at the bottom. So if you have got two options, put the irrelevant role first and relevant role later. Instead of this, do ulta, do reverse, put the relevant role first and then put
Okay.
the irrelevant role, and make sure that in the experience section you mention that it is the basis of relevance. Okay, guys, it's been
Okay. Got it.
almost one and a
Thank you.
half. It's all be almost 1.5 hours. This is not the last session. There will be more sessions, and next sessions will be much better than that because there are multiple people. Okay, I've got a confirmations from people from Google, from Meta, from all the big fours, from various banks, and there are JP Morgans, and there are many people who would like to come here and they would like to share their experiences. How did they got the job? What is their word of wisdom? It may be possible that something that I cannot address, they will address it. Okay, so do mention the sessions and do come back next week. I think so. I've given you all the agendas. One quick thing, this session is like a community support. This session is completely free of charge, powered by Career Island Team. Those people who don't know me, I'm the founder of Career Island Team, which is the largest career mentoring company. We do have private consultations, but these sessions are mainly, I tried doing this free sessions for those people mainly who have got their stamp 1G expiring in next 6 months. So if in case any one of you is having last 6 months in your stamp 1G expiry, and if you are stressed out, I would request you to send me a DM on the LinkedIn. Okay, I will take back your things first, and I'll do all my best of the things, all the things that I can do for your things to my best abilities. My priority is extremely clear now that anybody, two people, anybody who has lost the job already has been made redundant. They are into my priority list. Second, people who have got last 6 months in that TAM 1G, second year expiry, not first year expiry, second year expiry, they can reach out to me and I will take back on their priority list. This session, I did not take any priority people, but next session onwards, I'll take the priority people first and then I'll do rest. But I will be available as long as you want. Even if you want me after sessions, I'll go back. But do come back. And if you really want to, because people are going to work very hard, even the people from Google, Meta, and other people who will be joining from next session, JP Morgan and everyone, they will be joining from next session. This will be a very good point for industry connections. That's number one thing. Number two thing, I may be able to tell you more about CVs and other things, but the industry people, suppose someone is coming from Google or Meta, they will be able to talk to you about their things, that what does Meta wants, how did they go into Meta. For example, we have someone in sales and marketing who's into Google. He will be able to talk about that, how come he left Microsoft, how he got into Microsoft and left Microsoft for Google. So these kind of special, I would say, insights I may not have because I did not work for Google, I work for some other company. So do attend that. And if you really want to appreciate this, I would like to, give you a link on, just give me 1 second. I'll give you a link. You can go back and review us on Google. You can review Career Island on Google. And anybody who will anybody who reviews us on Google, I will give them a pointer list. Whatever I have said in this, I will note it down, everything, make a pointer list and send back to everyone who has given a Google review for Career Island and myself. Okay, I'm just sharing the link for Google review. Just give me 1 second. And just give me 1 second. And when do we have, I'll just check that. When do we have your next session? And anybody who have, okay, I'll have a couple of questions I'll take till the time I'm taking down. I'll take one last question if anybody has.
Raghav, can I please speak? I'm Vanshika this side.
Vanshika. Okay. Yes, Vanshika, please tell me.
Yeah, so like, like in the whole session, we were like talking about people who have a couple of years of work experience. But like for me, I have just graduated from college. I have completed my bachelor's from Trinity. So I was just concerned about like how like a fresher should frame his CV, because you told that like the education section should be put at the bottom. But like for me, I have like talking about work experience, I only have done uh summer internships. I don't have any proper job experience. So like, should I put the education section on the top, or should I like put my internship experiences on the top of my CV?
Okay. All right. So I'll tell you that for all the freshers. So Vanshika, one thing is for sure, I'll speak again about freshers mainly. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you guys face a lot of difficulties. If you are, and I'll speak in a very dedicated manner as well, but to give your answer quickly over here, if you are a fresher or if you have a less than 2 years of experience, you need to put your education first, because two things you need to sell. Either you sell your knowledge and experience, that is one thing, or you sell your education. So if you don't have experience, you can't sell your experience. So you need to sell your education. And in your education, mainly, Vanshika, you need to sell your academics, you need to sell your projects, you need to sell your modules, and mainly about your company project or dissertation that you have done, you need to do that. Freshers are hired on the basis of the behaviors. So you need to show the behaviors. The first thing is that I just need to connect to my charger, otherwise my battery will go down anytime. Okay. So if you are into fresher, the first thing that you need to do is a couple of areas that freshers are hired and checked, which is proactivity. How proactive you are, how accurate you are, how much leadership skills you are, and what is your ability to learning, and how you can handle more and more pressures. So if you have handled multiple college projects at the same time, talk about those projects. Talk about something that house that mention these in your cover letters, that when one or two person in your team they were not available or they have fallen sick, then how did you recoup that position? Those kind of things you need to mention in your cover letters as well, and that's how you write your CVs and cover letter. When I'll go back to the next session, I'll talk about that as well. Okay. And I would wind up, it's almost 1.5 hours. I don't want to keep it long, but I'll come back again. I'll take all the questions, some of the questions which is there. I'll try to answer them in separately. But if I'm not able to answer them, it's not end of the world. I'm coming back again on those people who may put the question now. I will take those questions first in the next session. Okay. In the meantime, I would sincerely request you that people have worked very hard on these conducting these sessions. The background team, the other people who will be joining us again, they are working very
Hi,
hard.
Raghav.
Appreciate if you want to
Interrupt.
appreciate us, just do mention the Google review. Anybody who will be putting up the Google review will get a clear document in which whatever summaries that I have talked about, different sections, the keywords, the career summary, 5 words, who you are, what are you selling, etc., the golden rules and everything, they will get a complete PDF version of all those things. Okay, so that's something. And someone is saying something. Last question before I wind up.
Yeah, Raghav, I had to ask you one thing actually. Currently, I'm pursuing my master's in data science and analytics in Maynooth University, and right now I am on a STAM 2, and like I'm applying for graduate role as well as some data and entry level job in data as a data analyst, but I'm getting rejection. Is it on basis of my visa status mostly, or like might be there's other reasons also behind it?
Just tell me again, what is your visa status?
I STAM 2. I'm still studying masters.
It is. It is. It could be. It could be a very big reason for your visa status. The moment people see stamp two, they think that it will take a long time for you to convert your stamp two into stamp 1G, and people don't have patience. So unless there are two type
Okay,
of
yeah.
hiring, there are two type of hiring, guys. One is projected hiring, and one is backfill hiring. Projected hiring is something which means that I understand that in 6 months' time I need these many resources. For that, I can understand stamp two. That's fine. Backfill hiring is something somebody has left. I need to backfill that position. It has to be immediate. Okay. So that's the reason I asked him. Stamp 2 is one of the big red flags. It could be a reason that you are not getting shortlisted. But keep on applying, because all hiring is not backfill. There are some hirings which are projected hirings as well. People hire on the basis of expecting that they are expecting some new projects which are in pipeline. They will be coming back in next 6 months. So they do projected hiring. For them, they can hire you up. I've seen a lot many people who have been hired on stamp 2 as well. I was one of them. Okay.
Yeah, one
All right, thanks,
request.
guys. I have another call at 8:30, so I have to drop off. And guys, just since your request, if you can do a Google review, that will be a greatest gift that you can do to me. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Take care, Swaraj, and take care, everyone.
Thank you so much, Raghav. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Raghav.
Thank you.
See you
Thank you,
next week.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Raghav.
Thanks a lot, Raghav. Thank you.
Thanks, Raghav.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Raghav.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Raghav.
Appreciate the